Welcome back to another vlog review. So, let's take a quick look down memory lane with the Paranormal Activity franchise. Now, the popularity of the first Paranormal Activity was largely due to its mysterious story and the viral marketing where it dared its audiences to demand to have the film shown in their local theaters. And for the most part, it was a pretty good flick. So they ended up making a sequel that was sort of a prequel, and a prequel to the sequel's prequel, followed by a sequel that was a sequel to the first film. Oh god. Oh, I think my nose is bleeding. Oh. Well, anyway, that brings us to the Paranormal Activity 5, The Marked Ones. And surprisingly, it's not as big a clusterfuck as the rest of the series. If you liked the story of the Paranormal Activity series, the found footage style of The Last Exorcism, and the characters of Chronicle, then you will like this movie. An unsuspecting neighborhood is rocked by the murder of one of its tenants, who was rumored to be heavily into witchcraft. One of the neighbors, recent high school graduate Jesse, as played by Andrew Jacobs, goes investigating the murder when strange things start happening to him. An unknown entity begins protecting and influencing him while his friends record it all, hoping to be YouTube celebrities. But when they find that Jesse's budding powers may be related to a coven of evil witches established throughout the Paranormal Activity series, the teenagers might not have much time before Jesse is completely taken over by a demonic force. Now, I was actually a big fan of the original Paranormal Activity. I thought it built great suspense, and the minimalist approach was a fantastic idea for a horror movie. But the rest of the series got progressively worse, and I started dreading when a new one was scheduled for release. So right off the bat, I was expecting Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, to be a complete waste of time. But that is really not the case with this one. This is the better quality horror movie we needed last October, not tossed away in January. The best thing The Marked Ones has going for it, especially over Paranormal Activity 4, is likable, relatable characters, this time in the form of realistic teenagers caught up in a creepy situation. The dialogue feels very natural, and I really do like the fact that the film focuses on a small Hispanic family as opposed to a wealthy white family, as has been the pattern so far. The Paranormal Activity films are at their best when they are breaking convention, even their own. While I'm not usually a fan of found footage films, the Paranormal Activity franchise has always explained its found footage as a product of the time. In the first one, you have a young couple recording their haunted house activity because it was around the time that ghost hunter shows were on the rise. In the second one, most of the camera footage is from the perspective of home surveillance cameras. In the third, it was a retro look back at the first emergence of home video recorders, videotaping every aspect of family life. Then in the fourth, it was the rise of Skyping and iPhones. And, keeping up with tradition, the fifth is all about the rambunctious youth recording themselves pulling reckless stunts or attempting to impress on YouTube. It's a minor detail in the grand scheme of things, but just something that added some much needed flavor to an otherwise stagnant genre. Overall, The Marked Ones feels like some much needed closure to the Paranormal Activity franchise. Things are finally explained, the dangling endings from the previous installments are finally wrapped up, and there's a nice little callback to the very first film, bringing everything full circle. If you're a fan of the Paranormal Activity franchise, The Marked Ones is a great send-off to the series. And even if you're not familiar with the previous films, I think you could like this one all the same. I know it kept me on the edge of my seat, and that's always a plus in my book. But that's it for me for now. Until next time, I'm Darren with Moving to Blender.